G'day guys, thought I'd come back with this 3D printed blue bowl. I'll go through the whole thing, that way I answer pretty much any questions that people have got. So this was given to me by a guy that does some 3D printing, and when I first got it, it just didn't work. You couldn't get enough water in there to run it and move material. So what I've done is widen this cone 38 millimeters. It started off at about 10 and it was a lot higher. Obviously all I've done is just bored it out, which is dropped the cone down. And it's just the cone, there's nothing at the top of it, it's just the cone that tapers into the top. So I sit it on top of this other bowl, and under that there's like a mesh thing. So all the material that goes through drops into there. Obviously if there's dirt and things like that, it's going to go into the other water, but all the material goes into there. You should be able to see I'm running it just below the top. I'd like to lift it a tiny tad little bit more, but it's so tricky getting that flow right and getting it to sit there. When I start feeding it, it will go up a little tad. So going into it, that's just a angled bit of pipe that is for electrical work. It fitted perfectly in there, that's why I've used that. And inside, I've pushed that pipe through. I've put a little reducer, which is a joiner for that electrical pipe. Just narrows off the end a little bit. And I find that helped. And having it sticking out also actually helps with the setup. From there, it's just pushed into a bit of plumbing piping. And then the expander, reducer, whatever you want to call it, that actually just slips straight on to the 1100 GPHC flow. From there, just running it on a battery, and I'm running it on this speed controller. And that's how I'm adjusting the flow. So that's pretty much the setup. Had a lot of ideas. I did ask for some ideas on what I should do, and obviously one of the ideas that come from Jim was to make this higher, and I did try that. 100% it works. There is no reason that I couldn't raise that higher and run a lot more water. After changing this little bit of a setup, I found I didn't need to do that. It was just easier, just get that little tube, chuck it in there and push that pipe through. I was always scared when I first got this about this pipe sticking out. What I found, it actually helps. I do have some material here. Give me a second, I'm going to go get some material and I'll start feeding this thing, and you can see roughly how quick it takes and how quick I can feed it and all the rest. So here what we've got is the screen that I've used. It's a screen I've got that's got different size screens. So it's probably a little tiny bit bigger than a kitchen strainer, but that's where I'm going to run this stuff. There's no point going down to a kitchen strainer. And that's the material there now screened off. It is dry, but the only other thing actually I will say is I put about 3 drops of dishwashing liquid in. So it is dry, yep, you're going to probably get some material that's going to float, but it'll be alright. This is more to show you guys just what's going on with the unit. And like me, I will end up overfeeding it, and you will go, that's not the way you run a blue bowl, but because I'm capturing it down the bottom, I can put it through again. And the other thing is, I'm not going to lose it. I'm not doing this in the creek. But technically I could run this at the creek to do a cleanup. And just take gold home. Because probably the material that I've got there would be well and of fines. I could run my high banker all day, and I wouldn't get this much fines. Obviously, yeah, probably better off wetting the material and putting it in, but you know how it is. It's dry, it's dry. Is there gold in here? I don't know. Well, honestly, I don't know. There could be. There might not be. We'll soon see at the end. But you're generally getting the idea of what's going on. And then I'll show you what I sort of do right at the end. How to really clean it up. Alright, so I've had this running for a little while now, and there's very, very little material left. I've turned it up so that it does spill over a little tiny little bit. And that's because I'm dealing with a few things. One is super fine gold and black sand that's tin based. So just have to crank it just overboard a little bit. As I said, I can raise it. The sides need to be raised. If I was going to make one of these and change the design, obviously I'd go an inch higher in the height. The cone is right. To me, the cone is right. I don't know, some people may not agree with that being in the way, but it actually helps with this setup. Let's have a bit of a look. I'll turn it off. We'll see if we can spot any gold. And I can see a little bit. I'll have to take his right in and zoom this right in so that you can actually see. Just get this light in the right place. There we go. Alright, if I zoom right in there, you should see some gold appearing. And that's actually getting caught in the 3D print itself. When we go around here, because I did see some over here as well. There's a little bit caught there. And these black lines, what they are is they're actually like a ridge that's sit up, like a reverse. If you imagine a V-mat, it's the reverse of a V-mat. Now, I'm going to get my finger in here and I'm going to just try and flick this black sand out and see if there's any gold I previously haven't seen. Oh, I reckon. Alright. We'll see. It looks like a little bit of gold, but it might not be. Oh, it's not going to zoom in that close. Right there, it looks like a little cone. A little bit of a cone there. Those bits were the ones I showed you before. But we are talking about super, super fine gold. There's a little gemstone. Just there. And there's some garnets. There's another little bit of gold right there. Let me just... It doesn't like zooming, but I'm definitely seeing. Yeah. No, it's not going to let me. Maybe if I go out a little bit and then zoom in, that's better. Should see a little little bit of gold just there. I'll try and hold this in the center. So it's in the center of the screen there. Looks like two little dots. As I said, this is fine. This is ultra fine material. Gravels. Makes the gold look big zoomed in like this. I don't know what that is. It's actually quite weird. That is actually quite weird. It's a weird shape if it's gold. I don't know if it's gold. Might be a gem. It's something weird. But yeah, these are tiny. This is like your little tiny bits of black sand. This is not anything anything big, but you can see there's little tiny bits of gold through there. This is micro gold. So you can understand, even though the black sand does look big, it's actually tiny. And that gold there, that is like, I'm going to try and put my finger there. Just trying to see where my finger is. Oh, there we go. There's my finger. So, to give you a comparison, see that giant finger? That's how small this gold is. It is tiny. Would all that gold weigh probably anything? Not really. Very little to nothing. But it just shows you. Now, anyone who's got a 3D printed thing, zoom your 3D printed thing in so that it's actually showing you the print like this. And you'll understand just how small it is and just how well this thing captures super fine gold. But look, the thing works. I'm pretty happy with it. Didn't cost me anything. The guy who was making them isn't making them anymore, or not at the moment anyway. Or maybe never going to make them. But it's probably a 3D printed thing that you can jump on one of those websites and get the design. But I'm going to leave it there. Hope you have enjoyed this one. It's a little bit different, but yeah, it's one of those things that I can. The main thing is I can go through my cons, even a kitchen strainer cons, and I just spotted a bit of gold, so I thought I'd zoom in again, and get that super fine gold. It'll still take a lot of time to get separated from that black stuff. None of it's magnetic. If it was, it'd be pretty easy. But really, when I've got it down and there's still a few bits of black sand, I'd just be using mercury to suck all that gold together and get it out that way. It's too hard. Yeah. But this thing does work. I'm pretty happy with it. A few hours of messing around and we've got it right. So, as I said, hope you've enjoyed this one. Till the next time, see you all later.